How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on Bleach, the fierce fight against the Arrancar arc. I think that's what it's called, but let me see actually. Yeah, the Arrancar fierce fight arc. So this is the arc directly after the last one, the Hueco Mundo arrival arc and all that. So here we actually get to fight these people, and with no spoilers, I'm giving this arc an 8. It's only like 17 episodes, but man, it was peak. It was so good. They had its ups, it had some downs, but overall, huge improvement from the first one. A lot more stuff happened. My complaint about, oh, not a lot happened, like it was just exploring and all that. Remedied here. We had exploring and a bunch of beef. It was crazy. All the fighting, and it was good fighting too. It wasn't like 2004 Bleach fighting. Now this shows like we're in 2008 now. We got the animation, we got the money now. Bleach is popular. We're gonna make these fights good, and some of them show that, some of them don't. But again, overall, it's an 8. It is so good, so good. One of my favorite arcs in this entire rewatch that I've been doing because as soon as I remembered what was happening when certain characters were doing what, yo, I was so hyped. And then for like the last 3 episodes of this arc before filler started to come around and the Shusuke Amagi arc starts, which I'm not gonna watch by the way, I was just hyped from start to finish. It was so fire. But I'm gonna give it an 8. That's my rating. So, you know, if you don't want any spoilers, leave now. But if you do, you're welcome to stay. So let me begin with that. This arc immediately begins with Renji, Rukia, Chad, Uryu, and Ichigo, the 5 people from Earth, or at least from Earth and Soul Society. And you have Nell, Pesce, and Tontachanka, who are 3 people from Hueco Mundo. They're all going to save Orihime. 3 of them joined because, they're here and they just want to help Ichigo because he's cool. And the others are there to save Orihime. So now they're going about that. And they get into a corridor. There's like 5 different passages. Ichigo's like, yo, you guys need to stay behind. And they all do a chant, like a Soul Reaper chant, that's like, yo, no matter what happens, we'll all make it back alive. Mm, And we will not break this oath no matter what. They say the chant and then they go into 5 different corridors. Or disregarding the safety of each other and more just making sure that progress is made. But because of that chant, basically they're not gonna die. It doesn't have any properties. It's just because it's a chant. So you can't break a chant or you're kind of corny. But Pesce, Nell, and Tontachanka are like, yeah, but like we don't want to. So Nell just starts going after Ichigo's hallway, and then everybody else is like, all right, but where'd she go? And so they go into other hallways to try to cover as much ground, but they got wrong people. So first we get Ichigo versus I forgot his name, but it's a dancing around card basically. He has wind. He calls them Nino in English. It was really funny honestly. It was really funny that he was just really Italian, or I guess Spanish if you look at it. But he was funny. I liked him. And the Bleach's comedy is kind of cool. Like the thumbnail for the last video that I made was from fighting this guy. It's just now they're oh my goodness, excuse me. Now they're picking back up with him. So it's just like this was funny. This was funny. I messed with it, but also it was cool. It wasn't the best fight. Ichigo's definitely wasn't the best fight. He has something later on, but for right now, not really peak. But it's alright because Ichigo doesn't need to have the best fight every time. You'll see why after this. But Ichigo basically is struggling to fight this guy. The guy's like, "Yo, use your Bankai. Go get strong. Like beat me." And then Ichigo does his hollow Bankai, and then he does a Getsuga Tensho, and he insta kills him. He spares him though. And he's like, "Yo, I went full out on you, but you live." And then he leaves to the exit, and then the guy is like, "Yo, I'm gonna kill you." And then he stands up. Ichigo beats him up again, and then Ichigo leaves. But then the guy really is thankful for Ichigo because he took him seriously. He gave him his full power even though Ichigo didn't need to, which is like, yo, thank you. And so he fends off against the other Arancars that show up to take care of Ichigo and the defective Arrancar basically. So he's dead. Next we have Uryu versus a girl, I forgot her name. She's alright. The fight honestly was cool because Uryu and Pesce were just so funny together. Like Pesce could go overboard, but because Uryu was basically the straight man, it kind of balanced out. It was funny. But Uryu in this fight was sick. He had some really cool Quincy powers, and it's just like I saw a complaint like this in Totally Not Mark's video, where it's like, or no, it was Super Eye Patch Wolf, excuse me, where Uryu just gets a new power every time he fights. Like literally every time he fights somebody, he always just has this one power that he gets because it's like, oh, it's a Quincy trade, and he just uses it no matter what. It's like, it's true. It's definitely true. Or oh, excuse me, Uryu. I'm doing what Pesci is doing now by accident. Uryu just has that out of nowhere. He always pulls out a power out of his back pocket. It's crazy, and I don't mind it as much. But once you see it, you start to notice it. Like you generally notice like, yeah, does this man always have a power? Like what is going on? But for right now, I don't mind it because it was really cool, and Pesci was just really funny. So overall, Udi's was cool. It was around Ichigo's level of in the fight. Oh, and now is which Ichigo? I forgot to mention that. Next, you have Chad versus his fight. Chad's fight was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. But it was only cool because of the second half of the fight and the ending of the fight, where he punches the guy into the wall so hard that a skull forms in the back of the wall. Like crazy. That goes hard, bro. Actually nutty. Really, or not a really good fight, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight nonetheless. I feel like it was better than Ichigo's and Uryu's maybe, but mostly because of the ending. Actually, no. I would say his has a better ending than both Uryu's and Ichigo's. With Uryu being closer to Chad because his ending was pretty cool as well. But next you have Rukia, and by the way, the order that these happened in was Ichigo, Uryu, Rukia, Chad. Renji didn't get a fight yet. They all got their fights like that. Ichigo won his fight first. Uryu won his fight next, and then Chad won his next. Rukia is next in terms of what's going on with her fight. But she was one of the early ones to get her fight, and you'll see why she was one of the early ones. So she's fighting in Arrancar, like a top 10 Arrancar. She's fighting number 9. So this is way higher than what the other guys got because they got like 100s, stuff like that, because they were ex Arrancar, or excuse me, ex Espada. Espadas are the top 10. Arrancars are the race, basically. So she got like an Espada. They got ex Espadas, which is like, excuse me, they're weaker, but they shouldn't be underestimated. Rukia has to fight a top dog, which is kind of unfair. But she gets there, and the reason why she has to fight the top dog is because it's Hyen. Hyen from all the way back in the story that she had was in the Soul Society. This is her lieutenant before he died and all that. And in Captain 13, or excuse me, uh, group. I forgot the name. Court 13 court guard squads, whatever. But I don't even remember what they're called. But yeah, so lieutenant for Captain Ukitake and all that, he died, and now he's back because Aizen took his body and the hollow that inhabited it and turned it into this Espada, and so now this Espada is its own creature, but it has Hyen's memories and all that, and he's toying with Rukia, and she's just like, "Nah, you're not the real Hyen, so let's beef." And they start fighting. I'm being really reductive, by the way. This fight was really good. The ending was questionable, but it was a really good fight. The lore and the emotion that you really got from Lukia was just like, even though you've seen this lore before, it's just seeing this basically reaffirming those traumas that she had with it and how she felt, and just closing the book on that basically. Because even though that's not the real high end, she can basically just close the lid on that, or excuse me, close the book, because her feelings needed to be done. You know, she's felt like that ever since it happened. So putting that done and dusted is just like it's character development for her, which is nice. It's really nice. But the fight overall, it was fire. It was really fire. But her fight didn't finish all the way until like honestly, Ichigo, Uryu, and Chad did all their fights, and Renji started his fight. Like Renji's is literally him versus an Espada as well. So Rukia and Renji really got the worst end of the stick, bro. Because Renji didn't even get a fight all the way until the end of like those three guys' fights, and Rukia's fight is halfway done. So he just got the crazy bad luck roll. But then he also has Don Tachanka, so Ichigo has Nell, Uryu has Pesce, and Don Tachanka is with Renji. So those are where they are. Or that's where they are, excuse me. But next, Renji versus the Espada. I forgot. So, oh goodness, I'm so sick by the way. Sorry about that. But his name is Sayel Aporo. He's one of the brothers of one of the Arrancars that actually attacked Ichigo in Karakura Town like 2 arcs ago when the Arrancars first showed up at Grimjow, I think, or after that, I don't remember. But he's number 8 in the Espada list, and he's fighting Renji. Renji is outclassed, no doubt. Renji is definitely outclassed. He's just his power and his type of Zanpakuto can't match it, which is not it's not because he sucks. It's because it's just a typing disadvantage, and there's nothing he can do about it. Like legit nothing. He gonna get some few shots in, but that's it. He can't beat him because this is tough. It's like fighting Mayuri in the Soul Society. Uryu could do it, but Renji can't. So with all that said, since Uryu is finished with this fight, he helps Renji, which is really fire. I generally like that because I thought that Renji was just gonna be beefing here and win somehow through some own BS. Nah, Uryu just genuinely showed up and they started helping each other. That was so fire. I genuinely loved it. It was so sick. So that fight was really cool. Honestly, probably my second favorite fight. Like if I had to rank it right now, Ichigo's first fight was the worst one for me. Then you have Uryu's fight, then Chad's. Actually, no, excuse me. Chad's second, then Uryu's third. As in like from descending order up. And then you have Rukia's fight, then you have Renji's fight, and then there's another fight that's coming up that I can't speak about yet. But Renji's and Uryu's fight is really cool. It's not done yet though. I'm gonna go back to Rukia's. So basically, Rukia got bodied in her fight. Like she was doing really good before the Arrancar, or excuse me, the Espada used his Resurrection, which is basically like the Awakening, the Bankai type thing that Soul Reapers have. Since they're really similar, they both have swords, Zanpakutos that they use, and the Bankai is that, or I guess the release, Shikai, whatever. Nah, it's the Bankai basically, and Arrancars have the Resurrection. So that's what he did. He turned into a giant blob monster, started clapping Rukia, stabbed her in the heart. She woke up and she was like, "I'm not gonna die here because Hyan told me not to," and then her sword is broken or excuse me, her Zanbak toe is broken. But she points it at the guy as he's staring down at her, and then she rebuilds her blade as it's going like pointing directly at him, like it's very close. She rebuilds it, and it goes through his head because he didn't think that she could rebuild it. So she won barely, like literally, that was his fight to win 99% of the time. But that was really clever by Rukia. I won't even lie. Like it was smart by her, but in a writing stance, it's kind of like, okay, that's pretty. Mm, should she have won? Probably not. But the fact that she did is like, okay, that was smart by the character. But in a writing stance, it's like, that's weird. That's really weird. But overall, fire fight. Generally liked it. The emotion, the lore, all that. It was sick. It was sick. But next we have Uryu and or no, actually no. Yeah. Uryu and Renji, their fight's coming to a close. They're they're trying all things out. Uryu can't really do much against them either, so they have to scramble their brains to try and find what to do, and they do. Renji stalls for Uryu for like 20 seconds because he has to do it, and then Uryu gets ready. He puts a bunch of charges on the field, and Renji goes up to Sael Aporo, and he's just like, yo, beefing, and then he wraps himself around him with Zabimaru. They're both together. It's like Piccolo when he was holding, or actually no, excuse me, Goku when he was holding Raditz in Dragon Ball Z. It's like that. And Renji just uses a Hado right in front of himself, an explosive one, and because he's bad at Hado, it just immediately explodes because of how crazy it is. And it doesn't kill them, but it is really effective. It weakens him enough to for Uryu to do some damage. And Uryu, with the charges that he placed down on the ground, he explodes them all, and he has one of the coldest shots that he will hit in a show ever. With when the explosion happens, like they really had Ichigo, Uryu hitting some crazy shots, Shad as well, like bro, or Yasutora Sado, excuse me, the Chad himself. But that's fight number 4 done. But then you realize it's not because it's not over. Because Sayala Poro wakes back up and he's like, no, I'm not finished. And so he eats one of his subordinates because they're actually meant to be nutrition to help him heal up all the damage that he took. So he's back to normal. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go change my clothes. While I'm gone, y'all better think of a way to beat me because I'm coming back and I'm gonna torture you all. And so he leaves. And Uryu and Renji just like, yeah, we're not staying to find out. We're leaving. By my fellow brother. We are done. So they dip. They try to go find the others, and then now we have the second fight that Ichigo has. Ichigo versus Grimjow. Now let me explain, right? So Ichigo is running with Nell, and then Ukiura shows up behind him, and he's just like, "Yo, I don't want to fight you." Or excuse me, Ichigo's like, "I don't want to fight you, so can you please just let me go? We'll fight later on, all right?" And then he's just like, "No, you have reason to fight me. What if I told you that I'm the one that kidnapped Orihime Inoue?" And I joke with you guys not. That man Ichigo drops Nell, turned and looked at Ukiyoda, dashed all the way towards him in a span of a second to 2 seconds. That man did that so fast as soon as he heard Inoue come out of his mouth. It was crazy. So crazy. I forgot that even happened, bro. Because I thought, like, actually, no, that's a spoiler. I shouldn't even say that. I'm glad I stopped myself. But I just can't believe how fast he did that. I was genuinely on some heat, bro. Oh my gosh, I love that scene so much. And then Ichigo starts fighting Yukiota, but this doesn't really count as a fight because Ichigo got dragged. Like, genuinely dragged. So, Ukiyota's about to go after Nell. Ichigo protects her, and then he just dips because Ukiyoda used a Seto to try to kill both of them. He dips out of the building. He's running to just protect Nell, but then Ukiyoda catches up with him, and he just blasts him. He puts a hole in his chest, the same way that Ukiyoda has a hole in his chest. So, Ichigo's dead. Like, he's actually dead. There's no joke here. Ichigo did die, and Nell's just there with him. Ukiyoda goes back to Orihime because he's the one in taking care of her. And meanwhile, with Orihime, I haven't mentioned her. She's just with these people. They're bullying her. Grimchild shows up. He beats them up, and he's like, "Orihime, come with me." And then he takes her to Ichigo. She heals him up, and now Ichigo and Grimchild are going to fight. So Ichigo stands back up. He looks at Grimchild. He tells Orihime like, "Yo, I'm gonna be straight. Just protect Nell, all right?" And so he uses his hollow mask, Bankai and all, and Ichigo and Grimmjow round three is underway. This fight, even though it was 3 episodes, like in comparison to other fights, it was short, but it was really good. Like really amazing, spectacular, immaculate, one of the best fights in the entire show, except for the ones that are coming up next. But this fight in the entire arc was great, completely great. The one that I'm covering right now, and honestly, one of the best fights in the entire saga so far. Genuinely amazing. Ichigo versus Grimmjow is still one of my favorite fights, and Grimmjow is still one of my favorite characters because he's just so brawling. He's generally just so brawling. He embodies the pride and honor system. Excuse me, but also he's just a bad person. But he's cool, he's cool. And his fight with Ichigo was generally fire. I can't recommend watching Bleach for that fight alone enough. Like, oh my goodness, it was so good. But their fight goes underway. They're basically just beefing. Ichigo's holding his own now. His hollow mask isn't breaking as much. It's not as instantaneous as it was when he was fighting in the world of the living. But it was such a good fight where they're both just getting their licks in. Ichigo kind of got like the short end of the stick when he had to go protect Orihime and Nell because Grimmjow accidentally aimed for them. And he took the shots for them, so he's weaker now. But now he's getting dragged by Grimmjow. And then Orihime, because she's afraid of Ichigo right now because his hollow mask looks like her brother back in the world of the living, way back in the beginning of the show where he tried to attack her, someone who was really important to her, and now he looks kind of like her, like him, and she's afraid. But now it's just like, yo, are you not gonna cheer for Ichigo? He's doing this for you. And then she's just like, yo, Ichigo, you got this, dog. Win. And then Ichigo's just like, hey, Grimmjow, sorry, but I have to end this fight now. And he just slices him down his chest. Like, bro, what? Ichigo, I knew you had that dog in you because I seen it before, but what? That, like, man, I love seeing that scene so much every time, like, I go through this show because, like, that slash, that shot of him slashing him is so memorable. It's so recognizable. You'll see that shot when you remember Bleach. Like, it's so fire. So fire. But Grimjow's not done because the final episode is him remembering his backstory, all that stuff. How the espadas basically become espadas, where you start as a Gillion, then you turn into Adhucha, I think Adhucha is the name, and then you consume just hollows by doing that. Like you consume hollows to get stronger, but if a hollow consumes a part of you, you can't grow anymore. That's it. You're done. So Grimjow basically joined a group of people who were also trying to do that, try to become a. But over time, they realized, or everybody except Grimjow realized that. Excuse me. They realized that they couldn't get any farther, so they they just like, yo, Grimjow, eat us, take a part of us and become the Espada. We'll be happily able to do it. You're the only one that can. So he does it, and this is Grimjow now. He's the one who used his friends not maliciously, because Grimjow's malicious, but not in like using people in a Eisen sense type thing. He just he did it. He did it. I guess in memory of his friends, but also because he didn't care. So we see that backstory. Grimjow just starts going crazy. He pulls out like his Frieza final form 100% type stuff. But Ichigo's just like, yeah, Grimjow, you're done. My friends are my power. Ichigo, I am Ichigo Kurosaki. Chad, Ryu, Renji, Rukia, Orihime, now, all these people. I'm gonna do it for them. And he claps Grimjow. And as of right now, this is where the arc ends. Because Ukiyoda actually showed up to fight Grimjow, but Grimjow sealed him, so he's gonna be gone for 3 days. And he's at 100% because Orihime healed him per Ichigo's request, and he won. Ichigo won. He won his ones after getting beat up 2 times, getting his fade ran. And this is so funny because I mentioned it before. I think Ichigo just gets ran up on, bro. Generally, just put up on and dogged on. It's crazy. Actually, such a poor fellow. Actually gets Jade every time he's out anywhere. It's so crazy. But he won his one. He won his one, which is fire. Generally fire. But the arc ends with Ichigo going back up to Orihime. They look out into the sunset, or well, the Hueco skyline, and that's where that ends for now because the anime had to stop because there wasn't enough material for that part. So they went into a filler arc, and now they're gonna be coming back like episode 190, which is, by the way, this happened 12, well actually 14 years ago. So it's not like it's done because the Thousand Year Blood War is happening right now. But I just wanted to preface that. But yeah, that's done. So with this arc, music, great as always. Here to Stay is playing more often, and I love it for it. Have some really good emotional moments, like Orihime just getting beat up, which was really sad. Have Rukia and her high-end moments, which is really good, but really sad. Chad with his moments with his abuelo, once again. Hi, meaning. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Ichigo had it was alright for the first part. The second part, easily MVP. I forgot I needed to do that. Where like the MVP of this arc, Ichigo is the MVP, no doubt. No doubt, he was the MVP because of his amazing finals performance in the end of the arc. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. But again, music was great. The animation was good. Honestly, it was good. Especially with Grimjow's fight, it was great. Character development, not much, but Rukia did get some, so it was cool. You have the story, not much to it. It's just them going through 5 corridors and fighting Arrancars, which is alright. It's cool. It's simple, but it works. And it's just them again progressing through Reiho Mundo because they're not done. Ichigo found Orihime, but they're not done. They're definitely not done because now either they choose to stay or they go and fight, and they're going to need to fight them anyway. So they're going to fight them no matter what. So since this is still a war, but that's it. That's the end of that arc. The next one, I don't know the name of it, and I don't know how long it's gonna be. I think it's like 190 to 217 around there. So it's it's a decently long one. It's like a seasonal anime plus, but I can't wait to get into it. I've been really loving Bleach. I've watched like so many episodes in the past week, so it's gonna be it for me for now. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy. And by the way, when I'm recording this, I'm still sick. I recorded the video, the Bleach one, like um when I uploaded it, which was today or yesterday. So when did I upload it? It was Sunday. It was Sunday. I recorded it 4 days before that. It was Thursday. I'm gonna be uploading this on Wednesday, or excuse me, on Tuesday. and I'm recording this on Monday. I'm still sick. Like I'm still sick. It's a cough and a sneeze, but I'm not sneezing anymore. So it speaks it's just a cough. Excuse me, but you know, it's the fact that I'm congested and sick still. It's just crazy. I should be better by now, but I don't know what's going on. But will wish me luck. But I'll check you all out. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all back with another Bleach arc. We're almost done. Over halfway. Over halfway. But peace.